3 lifelong friends, 6 trusty balls, and endless NFL takes. Welcome to 3 Guys, 6 Balls NFL Podcast.
Welcome to episode 25 of 3 Guys, 6 Balls NFL Podcast. Today, we are going over our division winners, our playoff seeding, and we're going to give you our Super Bowl predictions for this upcoming season, which starts in 1 week. We are almost there. So, to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to go over our AFC predictions. So we're each going to go through, we're going to give our AFC standings, so 1 through 7 for the playoffs. And then after that, we'll get into our playoff matchups and give you our predictions for the playoffs and the Super Bowl this year. So who wants to start?
Will.
All right, Will, you're up.
Good, 'cause I was going to say me anyway.
Give us your AFC standings, 1 through 7.
Okay, so first off, actually, before I start, shout out to all the players getting cut today. I know life's been fun for like a week and a half in training camp and all that stuff, but it's over, and good luck flipping burgers with like the rest of us. Anyway, if you're looking for a spot to be, we can host you on our podcast for a week, get your name back out there. Let us know. Anyway, AFC playoff seeding. I've got the 1 seed as the Baltimore Ravens. The 2 seed, I have the Buffalo Chips. Just kidding, it's the Bills, I know. 3, I've got the Chiefs. 4, I've got the Houston Texans, because truly, it's the best of a bad scenario. 5, I've got the Denver Broncos, who will be better than Houston, but I'm burying the lead there. 6, I have the Miami Dolphins, and 7, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers.
You would have the Dolphins in the playoffs.
Of course I got the Dolphins in the playoffs. Dude, you looked at the AFC. I have never been this down on the NFL in my entire life. There's like 5 good teams in the entire league this year. Everyone else is going to be like, okay, we're getting money, so let's keep playing. I'm not, overall, I'm looking forward to the season, but I'm not overly excited. It's football. It's going to be great. And when 2 bad teams play, it's a hell of a matchup. But overall, I'm just like, all right, we can pretty much just pencil in some of these teams, and then it's a who caresville after that.
Well, why do you have the Ravens as the number 1 team in the AFC?
Yeah, Will. Fess up.
Okay. I think more this year than ever, the Ravens are finally going to put it together. But actually, on the flip side, I actually have down years for Buffalo and Kansas City. I mean, we've got 3 teams that are going to fight for the first place, right? Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore. I don't expect the same thing out of Kansas City as we've seen the past decade. I don't expect the same thing out of Buffalo. I don't think the AFC East is as free this year as it has been in the past. The Pro Bowl-led the Pro Bowl-led New England Patriots by their Pro Bowl quarterback are going to be coming in screaming. We've got the Miami Dolphins, and like we talked about on Stuff About Sports, I think both Mike McDaniel and Tua are going to be on the hot seat. So I think that it's going to light a fire under them, and so I don't think the AFC East is going to be as free as it has been. The Jets are still going to stink. Sorry. Get over it.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah, but you've got 2 teams that actually have a chance to put up a fight. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to be world beaters. I'm not going to say they're going to be great, but they're going to put up a fighting chance week after week. And so that's why I don't have the Bills first. That's why I don't have the Chiefs first. Because, we talked about this time and time again. The AFC West is probably the best division in football, except the Raiders. But still... Look, somebody has to be the worst, right? It's going to be Dallas this year. We'll get into that later, I'm sure. But we've got an absolute buzzsaw coming to the AFC West. And so it's just going to be a down year for all of them. They're all going to, what do they say, take themselves out like the Pac-12 used to do. That's why the Pac-12 never got any recognition in the 4-seed playoff, because they always took themselves out of it. Oregon would beat Washington. USC would then beat Oregon. And it's like, okay, well, we're just hurting ourselves at this point. And so, honestly, it's kind of like a war of attrition here, where Baltimore just kind of is the last team standing. I think they have an easier road, even though they have to play the Bengals, who I don't have making the playoffs, and the Steelers, who I do twice. They also get 2 free wins against the Browns. So everyone's got one.
The Ravens lost to the Browns last year.
Well, sure. I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I think that Baltimore knows probably more than anybody, any team right now, that their window is closing. And so it's either a put up or shut up.
Okay. So you have the Ravens at 1. Who is your 2 and 3 again?
Buffalo and then Kansas City.
Okay. And then the Texans at 4.
Yep.
And then who was your 5?
Denver,
Broncos?
Miami, Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yep. Denver. So I've got Baltimore, Buffalo, Kansas City, Houston, Denver, Miami, Pittsburgh. And Pittsburgh's just like a default pick. I went through all 16 teams and went, who are possibly the only 3 other teams that aren't division winners that could make the playoffs? The list is very skinny.
All right, Avery. So walk us through your rankings for the AFC 1 through 7 seed and give us a little bit of an explanation as to why you ranked them that way.
Well, I can give you the explanation right now. I found a little, not an app, an application on the web. So
Chat GPT. Did you Chat GPT this?
no. It's
I did
it's like
that. Gosh.
it's like a bracket. It's like a calculator. You go through week by week, pick the games of people that win. Because my whole thing is with this, it's if it was just the top seed from every whatever division, that'd be one thing. But I got to include the wild cards as well. So anyways, I was just I'll just do it game by game, see how this thing turns out. I will also point out that I was in a hurry when I did this because that's a lot of games to have to go through.
I'm actually upset that you didn't send that to me.
It was very recently.
Joe would have done it 18 times during this last week.
5 minutes ago.
I will
Probably.
send it. I will send it to you guys though. Just it's fun to go through.
It's fun.
It takes you, and then at the end you go through the playoffs and you pick the teams. Anyway, that is my that was the means of how I did this. Number 1, like I said, this was rushed. So all of these playoff predictions are not what I chose. It's what ended up based on the result of who I chose to win. So it wasn't like I did it and then I'm like, who should I think? Who should I put in here? I have the Bengals at number 1.
Interesting.
Oh.
I have the Broncos at number 2. I have the
Alright.
Bills at number 3. I have the Titans at number 4.
Cam Ward
I
coming in
have-
big.
Titans.
I have the Patriots at 5, the Jags at 6, and somehow the Ravens fell to 7. My thinking is, 1, I already know that the Broncos, the Jags, the Patriots, and the Titans will do better than the season before. That's really not saying a whole lot, to be honest. Maybe the Broncos, that is, but the other ones, I don't think that's... there's not a whole lot worse you can do than you did last year. But how realistic this is, who knows? Maybe it's dead on. Maybe it's Slumdog Millionaire accurate. But I stand by it. I think Joe Burrow, as long as that defense starts to click even a little bit, I think they'll just burn through. I think they'll do really well. I think the Broncos have all the tools there. I think it really just comes down to how well Bo Nix acclimates to his sophomore season. And then the Bills, I think they'll just be in there. The Titans, I think Cam Ward's really going to need to kick it into high gear to get the 4th seed. The Patriots, again, I like Drake May. I like their, who's that LSU big boy they drafted?
Will Campbell.
Will Campbell. I like him a lot. I think he's going to help him a ton. Jags have a bunch of exciting pieces, and the Ravens, because I think they'll probably be higher than 7, but they'll be in there. But notably, I left out the Chiefs. I left out the
you
Steelers.
did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, when you hear that many teams, because I agree with Will. The AFC is incredibly top heavy with a skinny little body, where it's just there's not a lot going on. But the top teams are definitely the top teams. But yeah, I think it's them. I'm trying to think of who else I left out notably.
Wait. So, how close were the Chiefs to making the playoffs? Do you know?
Let me see. I might be able to check that out.
Well, I know you didn't have the Texans in there.
Oh, I have the standings right here. It's actually a pretty cool thing. It's called Sportskeeda, KEEDA.com. They were 7-10.
7-10.
7-10. I stand by that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chicago did a lot better. They barely have a winning season, but they did a lot better. New Orleans wins 3 games.
You went through and picked out all 272 games in the NFL this year.
You went out and typed that in to find out how many there were?
Dude,
Or did you just know that?
it's number of teams times number of weeks.
On me getting a real nitpicky, if you just went and typed in how many games are there. Jets win 4 games. I thought that was generous, to be honest. Miami wins 6. Pittsburgh is 7-10.
Ooh,
That's realistic.
that's
Well, realistic,
Even with
but
Will Howard?
that's Tomlinson's
Come on.
or Mike Tomlin's first losing season.
no, they were actually 7-4 before Howard stepped in, and then they
Okay,
lost
you
6
shut your
straight.
whore mouth.
Aaron Rodgers was doing all right, then he got hurt.
All
right.
All right.
I like that. I like
Cool.
how you did that.
All right, so for my AFC standings, I have the Buffalo Bills at the number 1 seed, winning the AFC East. They've got the 10th easiest schedule this year. They've got one of the best offensive lines. They've been first in the division for the last 5 years. I don't see any reason why that's going to change now. I have the Denver Broncos as the number 2 seed, winning the AFC West.
Ooh.
I think that defense is special. They have one of the best offensive lines. They got some better offensive weapons, and I think Bo Nix is going to do better than he did last year. At number 3, I have the Cincinnati Bengals winning the AFC North. And I struggled with this one because I hate that defense. Although they do have Shamar Stewart, and Trey Hendrickson is signed for this season now. So they do have those players back on their defense, but I still don't like it. I love their offense, though. And the reason, kind of the main reason why I actually picked the Bengals to win this division is I'll get to that when I get to my AFC North team that's going to make the playoffs but not going to win the division. I have the Houston Texans at number 4, winning the AFC South. We've talked about it before that CJ Stroud is 8-3 against this division, and he's 11-10 against everybody else. This season, they play the Rams and Bucks to start off the season, and then they also have to play the Ravens, Broncos, Bills, Chiefs, and Chargers, who were all playoffs teams last year.
Jeez.
So can they win against the Jags, Colts, and Titans? Yeah. Can they win against everybody else? I don't know. So I have them winning the division, but I have them at 10-7. So I don't see them doing incredibly well, but I mean, still double-digit wins. At number 5, I have the Kansas City Chiefs making it in a wild card spot. I think that the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs as long as Patrick Mahomes is there, but now there's a blueprint out on how to beat this team. Now, the Chiefs are going to overcome that in several games because that's just what they do, but there will be times when teams get the best of the Chiefs because they know how to beat them now. And, everybody is aware of the fact that the referees were rigging games last year. And so you're not going to go 15-2 with a 59-point differential. You're just not. At some point, your luck is going to run out. So they're not going to win their division this year. At the 6th seed, I have the Baltimore Ravens at 10-7. And the reason why I don't have the Ravens winning the division is because in the AFC North, the last time that a team won the division more than twice in a row was from the 94 season to the 97 season when the Steelers did it 4 straight times, and the Ravens have won the division the last 2 years. Also, their schedule sucks. It absolutely sucks. Their first 6 games, the Ravens played the Bills, Browns, Lions, Chiefs, Texans, and Rams. There is a real possibility that the Ravens come out of those first 6 games at 1-5. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I think the Ravens are actually the best team in the AFC North as far as talent goes. I think they have the best well-rounded team in that division, but their schedule is just awful. I can see them going 1-5. I can see them being 2-4. I can see them being 3-3. I don't see them coming out of those games with a 6-0 record or 5-1 even. There's an actual possibility that the Ravens come out of those first 6 games of the season at 1-5. And so if that's the case, they're going to be playing catch up. I think they have the talent to still make up for that throughout the rest of the season, but those first 6 games are just absolutely brutal for the Baltimore Ravens. At 7, I have the New England Patriots at 10-7. And the reason why is because they have the 3rd easiest schedule this year. They still have questions at wide receiver, but I think they got better on the offensive line. I think they got better defensively. They have a better coach. And I really like the combination of their Pro Bowl quarterback, Drake May, and their rookie running back, Travion Anderson. I think it's kind of going to be similar to Dak and Zeke during their rookie year, although Drake May is not a rookie. But I think that combination is going to do really well this year for the Patriots. And so I think all the moves that they've made collectively will get them into the playoffs this year.
Sweet.
All right, so let's go through our playoff matchups now. So, Will, you started us off with your rankings. So, take us through your playoff matchups all the way up to who's going to the Super Bowl out of the AFC.
Sorry, I had my AFC side marked NFC, and I got really, really, really confused when I flipped to my tab. Okay, so first round bye, Baltimore gets that. We're moving on from there. So we've got a 2-7 matchup. We've got Buffalo versus Pittsburgh. I've got Buffalo winning that in a darn landslide. There ain't no way that anybody in Pittsburgh makes it through Buffalo at that point in the season. And we've got 3-6 Kansas City, Miami. Unfortunately, Miami's going to Kansas City, and it's just not going to happen for Miami. We got Kansas City winning that one. And I've got 4-5 Houston versus Denver. And I've got Denver walking away with that. And so that takes us to the second round. We've got 1-5 Baltimore versus Denver. I do have Baltimore beating Denver. We've got 2-3 of Buffalo KC, and I actually have Buffalo winning this one for our AFC Championship game. Baltimore at home versus Buffalo, and I have Buffalo winning that game.
Okay. Josh Allen finally beats Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
I think so, but I think it's not. I don't think it's Patrick Mahomes' fault. I think the Chiefs are just going to have a down year overall. I don't think their receiving is as good. I don't think their running game is as good. I think they are just worse overall this year. And so it's not from Mahomes' lack of trying. I just think he's dealing with a worse team.
When the Bills beat the Ravens, is it because of Mark Andrews' hands again?
No.
Okay. Somebody else's hands this time.
Sorry, who was your last team? Who was the team in the Super Bowl?
Buffalo.
All right, Avery, take us through your playoff matchups.
All righty. First of all, we got the Bengals sitting pretty at the number 1 spot. In the wild card matchup, we got the Ravens at the Broncos. And I have the Broncos taking that one. Then we have the Jags at Buffalo. And I have the Bills winning.
You
The setup.
I was like, you better not say the Jags. You better not say the Jags.
I have the Patriots playing in Tennessee. I've been to Nissan Stadium. It's not much, and it's not scary. I have the Patriots. I have the Patriots taking it. They're actually actively tearing it down. They're building a new one because of how underwhelming it is. Divisional playoffs. I have the Patriots at the Bengals. I have the Bengals taking that one. Then I have the Bills coming to the Mile High City, and the Broncos take it.
Ooh.
Then I have the Broncos coming to Cincinnati. But I have the Bengals taking it. So I have the Bengals in the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Hey, that's hope for someone.
Hey, here's a fun fact about the Bengals. So, in Joe Burrow's 5 years in the league, the only time that the Bengals have started off the season with a win was the one season that they went to the Super Bowl. Thank you for advertising for us, Avery.
Hashtag not an ad. Just good.
Were you even paying attention to anything I just said?
Yeah, you said Joe Burrow was the year they won they went to the Super Bowl. It was the year they didn't have something.
No, you got it. Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
I'll say it again. I'll say it again. So Joe Burrow has been in the league for 5 years. In 4 of those years, the Bengals have started off the season with a loss. In the only season that the Bengals have started the season with a win was the one season that the Bengals went to the Super Bowl.
Jeez.
Oh, so they just have to win the first game.
Mm-hmm. And they have
And
the
the Super Bowl.
opportunity. They have the opportunity to do that this year because they start off against the Browns, the Jags, and then the J.J. McCarthy Vikings. So the Bengals have a chance to start off the season on a winning streak instead of starting off 0-2 or 0-3 like they've done over the last 4 or 5 years. So if they're doing that, they can ride that momentum to the playoffs throughout the season instead of trying to play catch up like they've been doing since Joe Burrow has been there.
Yeah.
All right. So for my playoff picks, I have the Bills as the 1 seed, so they get a bye. I've got the 2 seed Broncos versus the 7 seed Patriots, and I have the Broncos taking that. I've got the 3 seed Bengals versus the 6 seed Ravens, and this is where I have the Ravens beating the Bengals because, like I said before, I do think that the Ravens have the best team in that division. I just think that their schedule to start off the year is absolutely just brutal, and so they're not going to win the division, but I think they get the best of the Bengals in the playoffs when they play them. And then I have the 4 seed Texans versus the 5 seed Chiefs, and I have the Chiefs taking that game. the divisional round, I have the Bills versus the Ravens, and I have the Bills taking that. And then I have the 2-seed Broncos versus the 5-seed Chiefs, and I have the Broncos beating the Chiefs. So Patrick Mahomes does not make it to the AFC Championship game for the first time in his career. Then I have the 1-seed Bills versus the 2-seed Broncos, and I have Josh Allen and the Bills pulling off the win against the Broncos to go to the Super Bowl.
We both have the Broncos losing in the AFC Championship.
I know.
And you both have the Bills in the Super Bowl.
I honestly debated putting the Broncos in the Super Bowl. I really did. I think they can get there.
I thought about it a lot. In the time it took me to quickly do this, of course, but proportionally it was a lot.
All right, Avery, why don't you start us off with your NFC standings for the playoffs?
All right. At the 1 seed. Actually, I want to see if you guys can guess it.
Your
you
1
each have
seed?
2 guesses. Yeah.
We have 2 guesses.
Tampa Bay.
Damn, that was it. All right, shoot. That was it.
That was going to
Not
be
even
one of my
joke.
guesses, too. If Will didn't guess that, I would have guessed that.
I got Tampa at 1. I got the Vikings at 2. The Eagles at 3.
You the Vikings?
The Eagles-
Hold on, pause. Please pause. You think who is their quarterback? If they're going to get the 2 seed, they get Kirk Cousins?
He's a future Pro Bowler, dude.
All right. Well,
Dude, they just got Carson Wentz. They just got Carson Wentz. Come on, dude.
Keep going, but I'm not going to listen.
He's still. I didn't even know, let alone in the league. I didn't know he was alive. I haven't heard his name in like 5 years.
He's on the Chiefs a couple years
Yeah.
ago. Last
The
year?
Vikings just signed Carson Wentz. Come on.
All right. Well, I got the Vikings at 2. I got the Eagles at 3. I have the Cardinals at 4.
I like that one.
I have the Lions at 5, the Cowboys at 6,
Whoa.
and the Washington Redskins at 7.
Come on, man. I can't put that on Instagram.
What? For dead naming an organization, or is that racist now?
You're going to get ripped to shreds if I put that on Instagram.
Good. The Redskins at 7.
Okay,
At
now
me.
I can put it on there because you
Okay,
said
yeah.
it with a little bit
I
more
have to double
conviction that
down.
time.
You can't just casually say something problematic. You have to double down. It makes it more okay.
If you're going to say it, you have to say it with conviction.
Yeah. I'm almost a few more hours in the sun. I'll be a Redskin.
Oh my gosh. Okay, give us some reasoning as to why you picked those.
I can't.
What? As per the AFC, this is how the cards. This is how the dominoes fell. This is how the sayings. This is how it turned out. And Tampa Bay, I like their team. I think they're going to be a sneaky team this year. I think they're going to win quietly more games than anyone thinks they will. The Cardinals, honestly, I don't know how the Cardinals ended up here. I guess I just gave them more wins than I thought. Honestly, maybe the matchups, maybe they had an easier strength of schedule, and I just that's just the way it shook out. The Vikings, I genuinely think the Vikings are really good. I think the Vikings are going to do very well as well. Eagles, it's the Eagles. Lions, I think they'll do well. I don't think they'll do as well as they did last year. The same way I don't think Dak and Zeke do as well their following year after the rookie year. I just think they just set the bar too high. I'm not saying that they're going to get worse. It's just hard to reach that number in consecutive seasons. Cowboys, I think, are going to be actually not that bad. They won't be great, but they won't be that bad. They'll make the playoffs. And the Redskins, I think they're good. I think the Redskins quarterback, Jane Daniels, is great. I think the Redskins will make it in the playoffs. At me, chat.
I don't know why I find this so funny, but it makes me laugh so hard.
I'm not conforming just because institutions told me that something is wrong now and I need to change how I see something. I'm like, yeah, good luck.
All right, Will, take us through your NFC playoff standings.
Just thinking about last week on Thursday when Germ on stuff about sports when you call him the Washington racial slurs. Man. Anyway, I've got the 1 seed. I have the Detroit Lions. I actually do have them repeating success this year. Much like Avery, I've got Philadelphia, and well, he didn't have them at number 2, but he has them winning the NFC East. Do you have them at number 2? Did I misremember?
Vikings.
No, okay, yes, I thought that's what. Right. So I have Philadelphia number 2.
How could you forget that? How could you forget that?
Remember, I told you I wasn't listening.
He said he did say that. He gave me a 1.
Philadelphia number 2 for the first time since 2004. We will have a repeat champion in the NFC East.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, yeah. Don't worry, it gets worse for Dallas as I go down the list here. The 3 seed I've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The 4 seed I have the Los Angeles Rams. The 5 seed I have the team from the District of Columbia. We'll go with that one. The Washington Commanders. Now to actually think about what their name is. Thank you, Avery.
Everyone's only been saying other names the past 2 weeks.
6, I've got the San Francisco 49ers. I think just by sheer dumb luck, they end up falling into a wild card spot. And then we have 3 teams from the same division making the playoffs when the New York Giants get the 7 seed.
Really?
I like that.
Is that with Jackson Dart or no?
That I don't truly think it matters.
That's Jameis.
I actually don't think it matters. I have been convinced over the past couple of weeks that this team is actually going to be pretty good.
Yeah. I've said it multiple times. They're going to be competitive this year. I don't know how many games they're going to win because, like the Ravens, their schedule sucks. But I think they're going to win a lot more games than they did last year, which was only 3, so that's not hard, but still.
I want to see. I watched that video, just the slow-mo clip. It's like 3 seconds of Dart feeding Winston the dub.
Dude, you have no idea how many times I've watched that.
Dude, I really hope. I hope these guys become best friends. I hope that they're just always having a good time out there and that they win a Super Bowl together. Just with Jameis just hyping up Dart and everyone looking at him like, dude, aren't you like a little bummed that you're not QB1? He's like, dude, I'm here to win, man. Dart's my man. And that's what I want to see. I know that that's not reality, but that's what I choose to believe. That's my reality. That's how I identify.
And there's that clip from the preseason when Jameis throws that touchdown pass and Russell Wilson is just overjoyed with the play, like with how the whole play. I don't know if you guys see it or not, but like Wilson comes running to the field, and goes over to Winston and just is so excited for him. Like, these guys are an actual team. They're full on supporting each other. They're what you want out of a team. Your starter is supporting your backups. He's hyped that he's doing well. It's not like an, oh no, my job. It's like hey, if I'm good, he can be good too. Let's all be good together. And that is going to foster a really, really healthy culture for Jackson Dart to be able to learn and to grow in the NFL. And I'm actually, as big of a Cowboys fan as I am, I'm actually quite excited for it.
I really do think the Giants have put him in a perfect situation.
Yeah.
I really do. All right. So my NFC standings for the playoffs, I've got the Detroit Lions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Dallas Cowboys at number 1 at 6-11. All right, I've got the Detroit Lions at 12-5, winning the NFC North. I know they lost their offensive and defensive coordinator, but they still have their core players. They still got Goff, Gibbs, Montgomery, St. Brown, Williams, Laporta, and they still have the guy who runs the ship in Dan Campbell. So they had a ton of injuries on that defense last year. If they can even stay remotely healthy, their defense is going to be better, in my opinion. I do have them winning less games, but I still have them getting the 1 seed. I actually have a 3-way tie at 12-5 for the 1 seed, but the Lions, just based off of the games they win and all that stuff, they get the 1 seed. So I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 2, winning the NFC South. This offense, to me, has potential to be truly special. And I know it was already special last year, but this offense, I think it's going to be great. I know they lost Liam Cohen, their offensive coordinator, but they promoted Josh Grizzard to offensive coordinator, who was their pass game coordinator last season. He was the pass game coordinator last season, and so the Bucs were 3rd in passing yards per game, and Mayfield completed 71.4% of his passes. He's working with a guy who already helped him do what he did.
Yeah.
So I know it's a different guy. But it's going to be very similar in my opinion. And then this division isn't great, but this defense is the defense for the Bucs is very good at stopping the run, and I think their pass defense will improve because it wasn't great last year, but I think they're going to be better. At 3, I have the Los Angeles Rams winning the NFC West. I just think they're going to have one of the best offenses in the league with Stafford, Nakua, and Adams, and then Kyron Williams in the backfield. As long as Stafford is healthy, his back injury does scare me a little bit. But as long as he's healthy, I see the Rams winning the division, and McVay is one of the best head coaches in the league. Then at 4, I have the Washington Commanders winning the NFC East. I had them at 10 wins, but because they signed Terry McLaurin, I gave them one more win. So I put them at 11-6. Now, everybody knows that no team has repeated in this division since the Eagles did it from 01 to 04, and I think that trend is going to continue. And here's a pattern that I found when I was looking at the division winners here. So going back from 2024 to 2015, this is who has won the division. It goes Eagles, Cowboys, Washington football team, Eagles, Cowboys, Redskins. So if that trend continues, this is the year that the Commanders are going to win the division.
You mean change their name and win division?
Exactly.
We have to keep the pattern, the real pattern going.
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
Third time is their third different name. Absolutely.
There you go.
The Redskins, the Commander, or the football team, now the Commanders.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I didn't think about that, but there you go. We got to add that in there. Okay.
Washington bureaucrats. I like that.
For my wildcard teams, I have the Atlanta Falcons at 5. I just really like the pieces that are around Michael Penix. He's got Drake London. He's got Darnell Mooney. He's got Bijan Robinson. I think this defense got better. They only had 5 draft picks, but they used 4 of those, their first 4 picks, on defensive players. So I think this defense got better. And I just think the team all around is going to be better than it was last year, especially that offense. At 6, I have the Philadelphia Eagles in the wildcard spot at 10-7. And similar to why I didn't pick the Ravens to win their division is why I didn't pick the Eagles to win their division. Because there's a real chance here that the Eagles start the season at 0-5. Obviously, I don't think that's going to happen because the Eagles have a great team, but their first 5 games are against the Cowboys, Chiefs, Rams, Bucks, and Broncos. Now, everybody doesn't think that the Cowboys are going to win, but Dak Prescott is 33-8 in his career against the NFC East. He's won 80% of his games against the NFC East. So,
really?
Yeah, 80%.
I did not know that.
He's won 80% of his games against the NFC East. So there is an actual chance that the Cowboys beat the Eagles in that opening game. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's a chance that it could happen. The Chiefs are pissed off about the Super Bowl loss, and so they're not going to go down easy. The Rams, like I said, they're going to have one of the best offenses. The Bucks have a really good run defense, and what do the Eagles like to do? They like to run the ball.
Where are these? Which of these games are played in Philadelphia? Do you know?
Dallas,
Dallas
is in Philly. I know that to start the season.
Yeah, Dallas is in Philly, and then they're in Kansas City, and they're in Tampa Bay. So they're at home versus Dallas, the Rams, and Broncos. The Broncos have one of the best offensive lines, and they have an incredible defense. So there's a chance that they could beat the Eagles. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's a possibility that the Eagles take a few L's in those first 5 games. I would not be surprised at all to see the Eagles be 2-3 after those first 5 games. Not surprised at all. And so I have them at 10-7 just because of their schedule, but they're still going to make the playoffs, and they're still going to be really good. Also, another fun fact is the Eagles have won 13 or more games in the history of their franchise 4 times. One of those was last year. And obviously we don't know how the following season is going to play out, but the previous 3 times they've regressed in the next season. So in 2004, they were 13-3. In 2005, they were 6-10. In 2017, they were 13-3. In 2018, they were 9-7. And then in 2022, they were 14-3. The next year, they were 11-6. So they have regressed every single year that they've won 13 or more games. And then in the 7th spot, I have the Arizona Cardinals making the playoffs. And this is because they have the 6th easiest schedule. Their first 11 games, they play one playoff team in their first 11 games. So if they can start off the season with a few wins, well, not just a few, a decent amount of wins because that's 11 games, but the last part of their schedule is pretty tough. But if they can start the season off well, I think they have a chance to use that momentum to win a couple games when their schedule gets tough towards the end of the season. They had the 12th best offense last year as in terms of scoring, and their defense was average. It ranked 15th in points per game, but they spent 6 of their 7 draft picks on defensive players. So I think they're going to take a step forward in the defensive category. And I also think that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be better than he was in his rookie year.
You know, that makes a lot more sense how the Cardinals ended up in my playoffs. I was like,
yeah,
the
start of their
how did they
schedule.
win so many games? I'm like, oh, they must not have played anyone too tough.
Yeah, the start of their schedule is pretty easy. All right, so Avery, take us through your NFC playoff matchups.
All right, we got the Bucs sitting pretty, number 1 seed. In the wild card round, we got the Washington Redskins at Minnesota. I have the Vikings beating the Redskins. Then we have the Dallas Cowboys going to Philly. I have the Cowboys winning.
What?
I have the Cowboys winning.
Wait, what really matters is if they make it to the NFC Championship game or not.
Why don't you hold your horses and I'll get there. I think the Cowboys are going to hit a second half of the season surge. I think they're going to be a hot team. I think they're going to start off a little rocky, but I think they're really going to hit their stride. They're going to find some less known players or players that aren't right now super hyped up, but I think they go on a tear second half of the season.
Now that there I can use for social media. I can use that for social media right there.
And just a little bit of just like confidence building, just personal, just raise some
No,
self-esteem.
I'd love to hear it.
So the Cowboys are going to watch that documentary on Netflix, and they're going to be inspired to go win 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, and then it'll just fall apart after that.
Yeah. I watched that first, just real quick. I watched the first episode. I'm going to keep watching it. It's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I'm like, dude, I already know most of this stuff, but I'm like, the way they present it is pretty sweet. Dude, they butchered that man's name in the draft. Was that the commissioner?
Yeah.
What was that?
He absolutely...
Dude, go clear your throat. You just came up here to draft this guy. You coughed 3 times. And then he butchered his first name. I was like, I thought it was like some fan or some dude from the Cowboys organization. Like, he's the ball boy. We let him go do the thing. That was the commissioner. Yo.
Will, have you seen that yet?
If you butcher, you better hope that guy's out of the league quick and doesn't become a Hall of Famer. Ooh.
just real quick. If you have not watched the docuseries on the Dallas Cowboys, it's called America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys. Go watch it. It is very good.
On Netflix.
I plan
on Netflix.
Not an ad. But if they want to, we're available.
It is an ad inadvertently. We didn't mean it that way, but that was 100% a promo for that show.
Not a sponsor. Not a sponsor.
Just said where it was, what it is, and how good it is. All right,
Avery, continue.
I got the Lions visiting Arizona, and I have the Lions winning that hard. They pummel them, and they realize how easy of a schedule they really had. Then we get to the divisional, and we have the Cowboys visiting the Bucs, and I have the Bucs winning.
Yeah, dang it!
You know what?
I'm okay with that because I love Baker Mayfield. So and the Emeka Egbuka.
But it gave the boys a playoff dub. But it's not what we want. Which is a metric, but it's like, who cares? You mean like you just also didn't win the playoffs, but you got a little closer? It's like, okay. Yeah.
That's not what we want. We don't want just the playoffs. We want to go to the NFC Championship game.
You sure you don't want a banner in AT&T Field that says wild card winner 2026? Wild card.
I'd rather just not make the playoffs.
Get a better draft pick, yeah. All right, so I got the Bucs winning that. I got the Lions visiting Minnesota. I have the Vikings winning it.
J.J. McCarthy's going to go to the NFC Championship game.
In his second rookie season?
But it'll be one of those things where everyone's going to be like, I mean, yeah, he was given a great situation.
True. They won 14 games.
Yeah, it's like the Alabama quarterbacks during that 10-year stretch they had, where it's like, one, if you even remember their name, that's bonus points. But two, no one looked at the quarterback saying that's why they won. It's like, dude, you could have had anybody. Everyone around you's 95 overall. Like, dude, throw the ball up. We go to the conference championship. I have the Vikings against the Bucks, and I have the Vikings winning that. I have the Vikings winning that, and I'll just do I go into it now or do I wait till later?
Wait till later.
Okay, that's what I got. I don't like it. I don't like it, but that's just the way things are. That's how the world works.
Will, how do you feel? Well, tell our listeners who aren't watching you how you feel.
No, I'm good. I think I'll pass.
I should have had the Bears play the Vikings, and they both win, and they push out the AFC team, and they have another game in the Super Bowl.
I hope that Jonathan James McCarthy does as well as you hope he does, and everyone used to throw it in my face. But the chances that the handoff specialist can take that team without a solid running game, I mean, they're not bad, but they're a passing team. Next. I'm swiping left on that.
All right. Well, in that case, Will, take us through your NFC playoff matchups.
Literally anyone but the Vikings. Anyway.
Everyone goes, not the Vikings.
I've got the number 1 seed Detroit getting the bye. So we've got the 2-7 is Philadelphia at the New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that the Eagles beat the Giants twice in the regular season, and it's very hard to beat a team 3 times in the same season. I have the Giants going to Philadelphia and winning a playoff game. And I've got the 3-6. I've got Tampa Bay hosting the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, I just have Tampa Bay winning. I don't think I need a reason. Brock Purdy's not as good as everybody wants to believe. And by this point in the season, if Christian McCaffrey is still on 2 functioning knees, this will be the end of it. And then the 4-5, I have the Rams hosting the team from the District of Columbia, and I will take the District of Columbia to win. That's the Washington would be that team. The Commanders themselves.
The Reds. Okay.
Will, can I pause you right there for a second?
You may.
You know, one thing I love about you is that if there's any quarterback that has a question mark around him, you're just like, no, he sucks.
Not Will.
Any quarterback.
Yeah, Howard.
Not Will Howard. Not that boy. Love that boy. Shout out
for Will Howard.
Will Howard. You my boy.
Which makes no sense, by the way.
Why? Dude beat Oregon. I don't know is it because he beat Oregon? Or I'm surprised. I low-key loathe him a little. No, I don't loathe him. I feel bad for him. He looks like Mac Jones, like little sus, little like what's going on with those hips?
I don't know. Some guys you like, some guys I really hate. Most people I just really hate. Then in our divisional round, I've got the 1-7 matchup. I've got Detroit hosting the New York Giants, and this is where the dream season comes to an end for the Giants. And Detroit takes that one, moving on to the AFC or NFC Championship game. And I've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Washington Commanders, 3-5 matchup, and I have Tampa Bay winning that game. Then I have Tampa Bay going to Detroit for the AFC or NFC Championship game, and I do have Detroit winning that one.
Detroit winning that one.
Yeah, I do. All right, which is my Super Bowl matchup, the Detroit Lions and the Buffalo Bills.
All right. So for my NFC playoff games, I have the Lions as the 1 seed, so they get the bye. I've got the Bucks, the 2 seed versus the 7 seed Cardinals, and the Bucks destroy the Cardinals. I have the 3 seed Rams versus the 6 seed Eagles, and I have the Rams actually winning that game.
I want to say real quick, there have been 2 matchups that we have said this team will get destroyed, and both of them were Arizona.
Yep.
Everyone else just lost. No, Arizona got pummeled.
That's not true. I said that the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to get destroyed by Buffalo.
Oh, no, you are right. You are right.
But that was it.
Don't include in the clip. Don't include that in the clip. Just
I did not
right
say
before
anyone in
comes
the
in.
NFC was going to get destroyed. The only people in the NFC getting destroyed are the Cardinals.
You also did not have the Cardinals in your playoffs, so
Because they got destroyed long before.
Yeah, I don't. Here's
Yeah.
another guy I don't like. Kyler Murray. Don't like him.
He's basically Tua.
He's
Just-
not.
oh, that hits that hits Will hard right there.
He's just a little Tua.
Go on, Joel. Your turn.
Anyways, I've got the 4-seed Commanders versus the 5-seed Falcons, and I have the Falcons pulling off the upset.
Ooh, tasty.
Now I've got in the NFC divisional round, I've got the 1-seed Lions versus the 5-seed Falcons, and I have the Lions taking that game. I've got the 2-seed Buccaneers versus the 3-seed Rams, and I have the Bucks pulling that off. And then in the NFC Championship game, I have the Detroit Lions versus the Buccaneers.
Hey,
And
same.
I have
The Lions winning.
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning that game to go to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
The reason I didn't pick Tampa Bay is because they've got so much age, right? Like they've got some young guys, but their receiving core, their core guys, Chris Godwin, right? Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, they're just old, and Evans more than Godwin, but you saw at the end of last season when at the very end of the Buccaneers' final game, they were forcing the ball to Mike Evans to get him that 1,000 yards for another 1,000-yard season in his career. I just don't think they're going to be healthy, I think maybe is the right word, able. They're just going to be too, and yeah, experience is a lot, but there's a tipping point to where you're too old, and the youth and the recoverability from the younger players is going to matter more. And yeah, Bucky Irving's young, but Baker Mayfield's not. Mike Evans is not. Chris Godwin is not. And so
Baker's not old.
he's not old, but he's
He's
not,
also won playoff games.
sure. So is Jared Goff. Not a lot, but some. More than Dak.
Shout out to Tez Johnson.
Yeah,
See, that is why I have the Buccaneers going as far as I do, because if somebody is injured, they still have a whole bunch of receivers that can fill in and do really well.
Yeah.
And
I
backflips.
would rather the Buccaneers beat the Lions in the championship game. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Also, like I mentioned before, the Lions, well, I didn't mention this, but the Lions are really good at running the ball. The Bucks are very good at stopping the run. So that played a big factor in me picking the Bucks over the Lions. All right, so now it's time for our Super Bowl picks. So, Avery, why don't you take us through, just give us a reminder of who you had in the Super Bowl, and then give us your winner and a reason why they're going to win the Super Bowl.
You've got Bengals Vikings,
I'm
right?
Minnesota Vikings. And the Bengals. And I got the Bengals winning. I got
Thank goodness.
Jay Burrow winning his Super Bowl. And he's so banged up. His offensive line didn't get any better. The defense got a little better. He got a little better. Offensive line didn't improve at all. He's muddy. His offensive line is actually pretty clean. They play it's raining for whatever reason, and they take a photo at the end, and there's mud, blood, and just the line is just fresh.
But he got it done. But he got it done.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
But he's holding the trophy. He didn't have to buy any of them cars or trucks, so like
Just like Adam
Win-win.
Sandler in The Longest Yard, doing it without his offensive line.
well, yeah.
All right, Will, who's your Super Bowl picks, your winner, and the reason why?
I have the Detroit Lions playing the Buffalo Bills. And I have the Buffalo Bills finally getting, I don't have them losing 5 in a row. I do have them winning this one. And probably the most offensively exciting Super Bowl we've seen in a long time, but it pisses me off because there's no defense played. Look, I love a good defensive game.
Yeah, I like boring things too.
Fair, I guess. Yeah, fair. But I think that this should be a very good marketable Super Bowl. But yeah, I like Buffalo winning over Detroit.
I should point out, for clarity's sake, I don't actually think good defensive games are bad. I think poor offensive games
Sure.
that look like good defensive games are bad. I
I
want to
agree with
see
that.
a rolling offense that gets stomped by a defense like that. That would be good. When you can actually see when the quarterback overthrows the receiver by 10 yards and the DB's like, no, get up. It's like, all right, dude, sit down. You got beat.
So let's talk about the other Seahawks Super Bowl for once, where they kicked the Broncos' ass. Right, that was the best offense versus the best defense. That's what we're talking about. But to be fair, the first play was a snap over Peyton Manning's head safety, so let's not act like they were clicking our own ears.
Yeah.
All right, so for my Super Bowl matchup, I've got the Buffalo Bills versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I have the Buffalo Bills winning the Super Bowl.
I made the
I
right
just think
pick.
that you did. I truly believe that the Bills should have been in the Super Bowl last year. The refs absolutely got those calls wrong in the AFC Championship game. I truly believe that they got those wrong. And I think if those calls that they got wrong were reversed, the Bills would have won that game and they would have gone to the Super Bowl. I don't know what would have happened in the Super Bowl because the Eagles just wrecked the Chiefs, and maybe they would have done the same thing to the Bills, but the Bills have a much better offensive line than the Chiefs do. And so maybe not. But I truly believe that the Bills should have been in the Super Bowl last year, and I think that's going to drive Josh Allen to get to the Super Bowl this year. And I just think that he just gets it done. No particular reason as to why in the Super Bowl other than it's just Josh Allen and he's the best quarterback in that game. You could make a case that he's the best quarterback in the NFL. If it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes' 3 Super Bowl wins, then probably people would be saying that Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL. So I just think that Josh Allen is just going to will himself and his team to the Super Bowl and get that victory.
Real quick, do you think the electronic measuring of the football for first downs helps or hurts the Chiefs? Since you guys are big about the refs are helping the Chiefs.
This is just a shill paid off by Big Ref. He's trying to run cover for the refs.
I don't know. I don't know if I like it or not yet because I haven't really seen it. But here's just what I don't like is in the AFC Championship game when the Bills clearly made that first down. Like to me, it was very clear that they made the first down on both third down and fourth down. Why can't New York just say he made it? Why leave it up to the refs to get that call right on the field? Because half of the refs said he made it and half the refs said he didn't. And then the refs that said he did just decided to go with the refs that said he didn't. Why can't New York just say he made it? Like, why can't they just get it right? Especially in the playoffs. Why can't they just get it right? Why do you need an electronic thing to say where the ball is when you could just look at it and get it right?
Because they can't get it right. That's why they need to bring in the electronics.
They think that
Get it right. Maybe we won't have to.
They think that bringing in the electronic thing will make it less arguable. When personally, in my opinion, it actually makes it more arguable to say, okay, well, who's controlling where these pixels show up on my screen? Right?
Yeah,
You put the
Jerm
football
brought that
down.
up, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. I think Jerm said that. You put the football down the field, you stretch those chains out that we can see on the field or 10 yards as marked.
It needs to be something. I've always hated when the ref picks up the ball from the player on the ground, walks around for about 7 seconds, and then puts the ball down. I'm like, all right, so we're measuring against what you just decided right now? Like,
Yeah.
This is the least accurate thing ever. If anything, if you're doing electronic, dude, put some sensors in the ball and then have something across the field where it's like if it did cross the plane, it would beep or it would like buzz or something, not like on the ball or whatever, but there would be something where it was like, no, you did cross the plane. Because like we were saying, if we're talking about pixels, it's like, okay, yeah, we measure the field in yards. Okay, we're talking pixels here, like that's nothing. But if there was something where it was like, no, if you cross that plane, like we will know. Otherwise, like no dice. I think it should be something like that.
Here's the problem with Avery is that you get the Marion Barbers out there who will run across the line this way and then run backwards and try to make it on the other side, and you're no longer have a first down.
Yeah, I mean, you can decide. I mean, it will show time and everything, and you can count. You can like figure out forward progress there, where it's like, oh, it crossed. Like, yeah, but it left his hand. It's like, okay, well, we can see that. We can judge accordingly. But if it just comes down to like, there's a pile, there's just a scrum in the middle of the field, and the guy's trying to get it across, or like goal line, like I think that would be way better. Especially in my thing, for the sake of action, I hate it when there's a touchdown or supposed touchdown, there's celebrations and stuff, and then it's like, well, there's not a call yet. We're going to see. We're going to find out. And then you get to score. I would hate it if I was the player, and I'm like, dude, I want my moment in the sun. I just scored a touchdown. These don't come around that often. And then everyone's like, well, wait. Let's find out. Let's take a look at it and spend 10 minutes and 2 commercials to find out if it was a touchdown. And then he's sitting on the sideline on the bench like, oh, sweet, I got it. I hate that. I'm like, I want to know in the moment. So I just think some little thing where there's a sensor.
A little extra insight on the spotting the ball for the NFL side. And this also happens at the collegiate level, which is how I know it, because I work with refs who also work college games. I don't work college games. They work college games. Let's be clear about that. I'm not that good. I'm okay. So the way that works is the referees on the side do spot the ball, but there are 2 or 3 refs up in the booth that are watching the game and watching the replay that tell them on the radio, yes, that spot's good and the ball needs to be moved backyard. So as much as it is up to the guys in the field, it's also through the replay, and they have to do it quick. It has to be so fast before they set the ball down, because once it's down, it's down. And it has to be challenged.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, that would be the problem then, right? Because it's like, you have a decision by committee that has to be made fast after you barely even saw what happened. Like, do you even have time to see the replay in that time? So it's like you've got the most imperfect beings making really tough decisions in the quickest time possible. I see it as like, look, if it's something where it's like pass interference or some more subjective measure, but if it comes down to crossing a line, dude, that is what computers are made for. I'm not saying it should be for every different play, but I'm like, that is a literal binary yes or no. Did you cross it or not? I just feel like there's no reason to put refs in that position when you could have a computer doing that. It's not old-fashioned.
Although I have talked a lot of smack about it, I'm actually kind of excited to see how it works. I'm excited to see it in action, and I hope... What I hope is, from a fan point of view, we don't get caught up with that fictitious TV yellow line with that whole thing and say, oh, well, you crossed that line. Yeah, but that line actually means nothing. That is a Fox Network graphical representation. Line. That doesn't mean anything. It's usually off. So I don't know. I'm excited for it though.
I see it as long as we don't have arguments about it. I see that as an absolute win. Where it's like, oh, it crossed. And if someone's like, no, I don't think it did, and you like look at a replay, I'm like, no, it did. Like, if it gets something egregiously wrong, we have to revisit it. But like, if it just becomes a non-issue and no one talks about it, we all forget that there's a computer at all. Perfect.
Yeah, I am excited to see it in action.
So yeah, me too. It's either going to go really well or very poorly. One of those two. But we'll see.
You're right. It's the NFL. There is no in between.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Well, that's all we have time for on today's episode, but thank you for tuning in. Next week, we'll be back with our predictions for the 2025 season award winners. And so stay tuned for that. We also have the privilege of going onto the West War Room Rivals next week. So if you want to watch us live, we'll be on their show on Tuesday, the 2nd of September. And so stay tuned for that as well. But we'll be back. And as always, don't forget to keep your balls played with. We'll see you next time.
Bye now, y'all. Also, Mark Davis's haircut still sucks.